This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the Daily FX Forum.
So here are the 5 pairs that I will be discussing this evening: the Euro Pound, the Aussie Kiwi, the Pound Swiss, the Euro Swiss, as well as the Euro Aussie. So let's go ahead and pull up the charts. The first chart is the Euro Pound. If you recall, during yesterday's report, I mentioned this previous support line, which was violated, and then prices closed back above it, could act as support once again. Prices were right at the line when I spoke yesterday, and we can see that did occur. This line did hold, and prices did rally off it. But again, I did not issue any trades based on that line because I did not like the penetration down here, and I didn't have much confidence. But I did say that we shouldn't be surprised if it does act as support, and clearly it did. So right now, all I'm really looking at in terms of clear technical levels is this resistance line with a little bit of penetration up here, but we do have 3 distinct points, and that's near the 91 figure, about 90 pips or so away. So I really don't envision that occurring within the next 24 to 48 hours. But if it does occur, we might look to enter just beneath the line with a stop, maybe 30 to 40 pips above the line, but certainly I will update that with tomorrow's report. The next chart is the Aussie Kiwi, and the long trade from 24.60 continues. Again, stop at 24.10. We can see that during yesterday's, this is a bearish engulfing candle, and prices did come down and make a low of 24.25. So that stop was not hit, and prices right now about 24.70. I still like this trade, and even if you're flat right now and you didn't enter originally at 24.60, I might go ahead and enter right now and keep that stop at 24.10. So right now that would be an entry or a secondary entry if you're not already long at 24.70 with a stop at 124.10. Again, what I like here is prices actually came down. Let me zoom in a little bit. Prices came down, made a new low, and again, remember at one point this was a large red ugly candle, and prices then closed back above these lows here, and that's what I like to see in terms of reversals. So, and this could have cleaned out some of the long trades here, but not us with the stops at 124.10. The next chart is the Pound Swiss, and still just waiting for prices to come up and test the opposite side of this previous support line, and we could see that during yesterday's session prices actually fell a little bit further, so I'm not really sure within the next 24 to 48 hours that this trade will set up either, but certainly something we can keep an eye on. The next chart is the Euro Swiss. Give me one moment here, and actually during yesterday's session prices did draft a doji on the daily chart, which is this candle right here, and the low of the doji is 148.50. So I actually like this trade right now on the long side, an entry at 148.78 with a stop, let's call it 148.40. So again, long 148.78 with a stop at 148.40. And again, we might look to take profits if prices do come back up and test that 150 figure. So right now, tentatively call it 149.75 for limits, but I'll certainly update that with tomorrow's report. Again, long 148.78 with a stop at 148.40. The next chart is the Euro Aussie, and hopefully you were able to get in this trade as prices did fall significantly during yesterday's session. I mentioned during yesterday's session as prices were near the 162 figure that I was expecting prices to come down to at least near that 161 figure. So that did occur. If you did place limits there, then that's great. You were exited with a 200 pip gain. Again, this was an entry at 163 with a stop at 163.30. If you're still in this trade right now, I would go ahead and exit. Take your profits now at about 160.43 would be the current price, and just stay on the sidelines for now. Again, my name is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening, and please stay tuned for a preview of the Daily FX Forums. I want to take this opportunity to formally welcome you all to the Daily FX Forums. I want to go through the process of how I personally access the forums and how maybe you at home, if you want to access the forums in the future, might do so. The first thing you would do is go to www.dailyfx.com, and that will bring up, obviously, dailyfx.com, and usually there on the upper right hand corner I'll go ahead and click on where it says forum, and that will bring up the first page of the forums. And this view, I personally don't use this view, but this view actually shows you the most recent posts on all the threads within the different sections and a little detail about those posts, so you can read through and see if there's something catches your interest. But personally, I go ahead and just click on forums and view them in the more traditional sense. Now, these are different threads within the forum. There's a section on education, such as DailyFX course instructor tips, which would be good for newer traders, and then for more advanced traders. And I just want to go ahead, personally, the way I use the forums is I would go through the individual threads, just looking for trade ideas, maybe looking at charts, looking at certain lines that maybe I didn't put up on my chart, but another trader might have put up on their chart. I tend to, shy away from using direct trade recommendations from other forum members, but it helps me to sort of even out my analysis, make sure that I'm seeing things with the right mind in terms of I might be missing stuff that other traders can see, and that's my personal way of using the forum. Every trader is going to be a little bit different in how they use it. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to become an active participant of the members, you would have to go ahead and register. So that's what I'm going to go through now, is the registration process. So assuming you're brand new to the forums, or maybe you've been here a few times and you're not really sure how it works, so I just want to walk through again the registration process. This would be the front page where you would access, or the previous page. You'd have the same little box here on the left hand side. Obviously, my username and password are already filled out here, but assuming you're a new member, you would click on where it says register, and that will bring up the registration page. If you give me one moment here while my browser loads. And actually first we're going to have some terms of service and DailyFX forum rules. I do suggest reading through the forum rules. Obviously, profanity and spam and things like that are not allowed, but it also gives you insight on how to use the forum and how different traders can use it, in terms of their individual needs. So you would go down to the bottom there. You'd click on where it says I have read all the rules, and then you would go ahead to the register, the formal registration page, and that will bring up here. And you can go ahead and select the username, and how about we'll use 4x, and that name is already in use, so maybe add a few more x's there. Again, it really, your individual username is up to you, and you go ahead and fill in your password, your email address. Now, the most difficult aspect of registration for the DailyFX forums will be figuring out these letters in the box here. Now, I'm a semi-intelligent person, but I have a very difficult time figuring out which letters and numbers to use. Now, there is a reason for this madness. It helps with security, but I would suggest just going ahead and keep on clicking that refresh image until something comes through that you can actually identify and see. Then you can go ahead and enter your birthday, but you can decide whether or not to display that to other forum members. And then also, if you were referred by somebody, you can enter that information there. The time zone, that should default to your computer, but you should double check and make sure. And then you can opt in, and I would suggest opting in for these emails in terms if the administrators want to go ahead and send you some notices about the forum, and then you would complete registration. Now what happens is they would send you an email to the email address that you put up here, and that email will include a link, and all you would have to do is go ahead and click on that link, and that link will bring you inside the forum, and you would now be a member of the DailyFX forums. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening.